Hello everybody and welcome to week 8 of Pinto's preview right here on KFGO.com. This week for NDSU, Southern Illinois comes to town and it is a big one for both teams. Southern Illinois with a half-game lead over NDSU in the conference. Well, we look at last week a little bit. South Dakota just got absolutely dominated by NDSU. Didn't even get to 100 total yards of offense. Think of that, 100 total yards of offense. Passing-wise, running-wise, they couldn't move the ball against NDSU. In what, in my opinion, ended up being the most dominant performance by this NDSU defense so far. NDSU's defense doesn't really have a challenge this week against the Southern Illinois offense, even though you've seen in the last 2 weeks back-to-back games of 30 points for the Salukis, but they don't rely too much on the offense as much as they do the defense. And we'll get into that and more with my 3 points right here on Pinto's preview. Point 1 I want to make is how is NDSU going to stop the penetration on defense of Southern Illinois. Now, Southern Illinois has the great ability to stop plays in the backfield. Second in the conference in tackles for loss, second in the conference for sacks. Reason being is they run a 3-4 defense. With a 3-4, you don't know where that fourth rusher is going to come. Is it going to come from one of the middle backers? Is it going to come from the outside? So then it creates confusion on the offensive line. What NDSU needs to do is understand who they have pre-snap and then react after the snap, maybe do a little bit of zone blocking here or there to figure out who's going to take what guy when he comes in what area. There's going to be points in this game where Southern Illinois is going to make tackles for loss. That's just going to happen. That's what happens with the 3-4 defense. But NDSU's offensive line needs to be smart pre-snap, and that's where it all has to happen for NDSU, Brock Jensen, and the offensive line in order to stop the penetration of the backfield of the Southern Illinois defense. Point 2 I want to make is stopping the big play. NDSU has been killed by it, specifically in the Indiana State game. 2 touchdowns or interceptions returned for touchdowns. Southern Illinois has thrived on it. I think they've had a couple 100-yard returns, both on a fumble and an interception for touchdowns. The last 3 straight weeks, they've blocked punts and then returned those blocks for touchdowns. Think of that. Southern Illinois has been doing an outstanding job on defense and special teams, causing havoc, getting the ball in spots, and allowing their team to come up with easy scores. NDSU needs to prevent from that. You don't have a better quarterback in the conference when it comes to doing that than Brock Jensen. That Indiana State game was an anomaly. NDSU is going to control the ball, rely on their defense and field position in order to beat Southern Illinois and not allow them to have that big play and get that momentum behind them in this game. The third and final point I'd like to make is NDSU needs to reestablish the run in this game. The last couple weeks, they've kind of gone away for it. They haven't been as successful. The offensive line, not so much last week, but against Indiana State, was dominated. NDSU needs to start handing the ball off more, and let's go to Sam Ojuri more. The one thing I want to talk about is the fact that Sam Ojuri has kind of been non-existent since his suspension, and what NDSU needs to do is go to him more, especially with John Crockett nursing a couple injuries. So I would expect and hope NDSU goes to Sam Ojuri 25 times in this game, Crockett maybe 10, and let Crockett heal up because it's a long season. You still have a few more games after this plus the playoffs, and NDSU needs to reestablish their domination at the offensive line and running the ball in order to, again, time possession, not create turnovers or give momentum to Southern Illinois, and win this game against the Salukis. And now for my prediction. All season long I've been completely and utterly wrong with every single score I've picked. So why not I go 24-10 with this one? I have no confidence in this pick at all, but 24-10 seems like a reasonable number. Southern Illinois has a very good defense, an underrated defense. NDSU's had a tough time scoring against them, especially last year when they won 9-3. But I think with the way NDSU is going to control the ball, they're going to run it 60% of the time on offense. They're going to dominate the Southern Illinois offense. They're not going to turn the ball over, nor are they going to allow the big play to happen for the Salukis. So I think it's going to be a slugfest, but NDSU is going to win this one 24-10 and start making their way back to the top of the Missouri Valley Conference. For Pinto's previews and KFGO.com, I'm Daniel Gunderson.